Okay, happy Monday, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started as people are still logging in. I appreciate everybody joining in on time and taking a bit out of your evening today to talk basketball. So as before, we will be showing some clips. Our session today is about positioning on the court. Lorenzo Alvarez, who's been a longtime member of the San Antonio Basketball Officials Association. He's moved away, so but I know he still calls us home. So we have him with us. He is he's been a high school basketball official. He's officiated at every level, state going on down. He is a college basketball official, D1 level. So he has a lot of experience. He's a wonderful teacher and can provide us with some great plays and conversation today. Again, we want to keep this an open forum. Please feel free to answer questions, provide your feedback. No questions too silly or dumb. We're all here to learn together. So we just want to have a positive conversation about basketball. And again, today the topic is positioning on the court. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Lorenzo. Lorenzo?
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody had a nice day and especially a nice weekend, and not too tired to have an open mind on basketball. So coming up on my 34th year refereeing, I started just like you guys, everybody there online, that I started in the trenches, in the weeds, and learning how to officiate. I had a conversation with Erin earlier today, and I was telling her that when I started doing high school basketball, I'd already been refereeing at a higher level, working pro-am basketball, working three-person, but I started doing high school basketball, and then come to find out, there was a lot of rules involved with this, so I had to get involved in that book. And there was a guy named Uncle Rudy, and the way we started this training was to sit down and in a classroom session, and he stood there in front of us and he said, "Okay, open up your rule books. Everybody has a rule book. Start from page 1," and we all started reading. There must have been about 25 of us in that classroom, and all we did was read from the front cover to the back cover of that book, and that's how I learned how to go through the rules and starting by getting my feet wet with basketball. It was I had never done that. Initially, the first 15 minutes of the training session, I thought, this is crazy. I'm a grown man, and I've done this and I've done that, and well, lo and behold, it actually made me a better referee. So I started refereeing in high school in 1986, and been refereeing at a higher level games. So I've been around the block once, okay, maybe 2 or 3 times. But if y'all have any questions after this session, please feel free to email me or call me or text me. I'm retired military, and all I do is hang out here at the house, cooking, cleaning, and doing laundry. So I have time to talk. If you want to send me clips on plays, I'm constantly looking at plays. I shared some with Erin just today, some of my college games. So anyway, without further ado, I truly believe that officiating you have to start at the ground level. You have to build a foundation, just like anything. Build a house, you have to have a foundation on it. And I believe there are 3 areas of the foundation that each official should have. Now, one, obviously, knowing the rules. You can't adjudicate any of the rules and violations if you don't know them. And second of all, you need to know your mechanics. And along with mechanics comes communication, having a dialogue with officials, having dialogue with players, your table crew, your coaching. So one of the things I noticed last session is there were some individuals were saying during the block block charge situations, they were saying the official's not set. I meant the player's not set. Well, if you read the rule book, there's no verbiage in there that says a player has to be set, because the player can move, the defensive player can move before taking a charge, or move illegally and having an illegal movement causing a block. So you need to know the rules, and two, you need to know your mechanics and be able to communicate those mechanics. And the third thing is what we're going to talk about is positioning. Now I'm going to cover the three-person mechanics. That actually started back in the early 80s. The NBA were studying this because referees were missing plays, missing calls. Right now, the referees at the NBA level, their accuracy level is sitting at about 95%. Anything lower than that, they probably won't be refereeing NBA. And I know a lot of people don't follow the NBA, and I do, but and that's okay. That's where we learned the mechanics of a three-person game. So you have the trail, which is the outside official. You have the lead, which is on the same side as the trail, and they're at the baseline. And the center official was the added official to the game back in the early 80s, and it actually was implemented by the NBA around 1989. I remember working in pro-am basketball in the 1990, and we're doing three-person mechanics. So that's before the high school association took it over. So now you have the trail, the lead, and the center. The reason why we had that is that to make sure that we cover much of the areas that a two-person crew would miss. There's a lot of ground to cover. Every year, players get better. 10 years ago, I remember it was mostly a half-court game. Now it's a run and gun. So there's so much movement away from the ball that you're really required to know the three-person game. And you'll find out that it's much easier, but the person that's involved, the referee, sometimes makes it a little bit difficult. And the reason why? Because they're so used. Let me put it this way. Before I started refereeing, I was a fan. So what did the fan do? Follow the ball. I sat there and watched the ball everywhere onto the court. If the ball's away from your area, your primary coverage area, you can't be looking at the ball. And that's what makes it difficult. That's what referees have a difficult time with. So it takes a little bit of discipline, a little bit of work. What I say is I've been telling everybody, learn to focus. Know your primary coverage area and stay focused at all times. One of the state representatives, when I first went to state, they gave a lesson on the three-person thing. And one of the things I picked up from them, I picked up a lot, but one of the things I remember and I still do today is a chant. So let's say the ball is in between the trail and the lead. I'm the C. And what I started doing, so that I wouldn't look at the ball, I would start thinking, defense, defense. And that would just to keep me focused on my primary area, looking at the defense. That's just the way I do it. I still do it after 33 years. So anyway, that's just a little extra little thing y'all have. So let's talk. Trail. I have the rule book here, the official's manual. Trail. The trail official will take a position approximately 28 feet from the end line, just inside the table sideline boundary. So that sideline. Indicate to partners free throws and things like that, and time and all this stuff, inbounding. So anyway, so the trail position will be roughly around the top of the three-point arc, extended. So you could be onto the court maybe a step. But if you get further onto the court, you're actually in a passing lane. If the ball is stolen, you could get run over or interfere with the play. So the National Federation actually say you can move a step or two onto the court to obtain a better angle on plays. Must be mindful of passing lanes. 3, may move downward to the end line to obtain a better angle on plays, and must be mindful again of quick turnovers. And 4, may move higher even into the backcourt if play dictates, meaning there could be a spread offense and they're tossing the ball to kill the clock or come down for the last second shot. So they'll move higher or closer to the division line. Lead position. Trail and lead is considered strong side. You have 2 officials on one side. Lead should be located, and this is the high school, 4 to 6 feet off the end line. Now, keep in mind, there are some gyms, some arenas that won't allow you to be that deep. My comfort area as the lead is normally 1 to 2 steps off that baseline. I know the National Federation says 4 to 6 feet. That's a long way, but I understand why. And the reason being is that, 1, you see more of the player with the ball. So you're able to cover from head down to their feet and pick up traveling movements. You can pick up the defense. I get that. But later on in this book, you're gonna read that the trail, as the ball goes toward the basket, the trail actually has a lot of upper body watching for contact on a drive, a layup, a shot, things like that. They're not really looking at the feet. And that's the way it explains here in the high school book. When the ball is on the lead side of the court, the lead should assume a wide angle position, which is 2 to 3 steps inside the 3-point arc extended off the court, mirroring the ball. Okay, let's not get carried away with mirroring the ball. So if the ball is closer to the trail, closer to the sideline, you don't have to go toward the 3-point arc extended where it connects to the baseline. You don't have to be that deep. What you're going to do is put yourself out of position. So home base for the lead, and I know that it doesn't cover this in the lead verbiage under the officials manual. The home base, if you look at the L on this diagram, it's actually the L is between the 3-point arc that touches the baseline to the lane line that's touching baseline. It's in between. That is home base for the lead. So that would be a good, comfortable position to be. If you need to look at something close to the 3-point arc line, what you're going to do is you're going to open up your shoulders and open up toward that area that you have to referee. And keep in mind the trail will have everything outside the 3-point line with that. When the ball is in the middle of the court or the ball crosses the center side of the court, the lead should assume a closed down position. Closed down position is actually 1 step inside the free throw lane line extended off the court. So that's closer to the baseline, so you're roughly 1 step. So you've heard me explain the trail position. You've heard me explain the lead position. It is very critical that you know those positions. And the reason being is that it's going to help you stay focused on your primary coverage area. Because if you're too wide as lead through the 3-point line, you're probably watching stuff outside where the trail would be. If you close down toward the lane line extended, or you're inside the paint, you're going to probably get straight line on players. So being at wide angle and trail being off the court like that on strong side, you're able to have good angles to see between 2 players. And that's the whole key to this game right there. To be able to see between 2 players and decide and see fouls as they occur. Center position. Center position is home position is along the sideline, straddling the 3-point line extended. So when you're standing there facing the court or facing the trail, facing the opposite side, you should be straddling that line extended all the way to the side, to the end line. I mean, to the sideline. The center position may move 1 or 2 steps above or below the location. The field of vision and maintain an open angle to monitor activities within the primary coverage area, the PCA. Again, you must know your PCA. The center position may move a step or 2 onto the court to obtain a better position if all the players are located on or toward the other side of the court. So that verbiage, including what the trail and lead says, helps us do one and probably the most important thing, to stay engaged. So if you stand there as C and you're still hugging that sideline, and all the players, all 10 of them, are now on the other lane line or inside where the trail and lead are, then you're not engaged. You might as well be sitting there on the sideline eating popcorn and drinking a soda. So what they want you to do is to move to improve. So in other words, you move 1 or 2 steps onto the court so that way you are able to see and help out the lead with their coverage. Within the 3-point, the three positions, the lead probably has the most difficult to cover. Meaning that normally on a shot, you're going to have 5, 6, maybe 7 players in there jockeying around for a rebound. So you C and trail need to stay engaged and make sure they can help on any rebounding that the lead may not be able to see. Any questions on what I just covered?
Everybody feel free to ask questions or comments and as we go through this.
I really believe that that everybody, whether you're a first or a 5-year referee, 6-year referee, everybody should learn this, because somewhere along the line you're going to get thrown in a game and help out. Anybody?
On the C position, can you like turn your body for a better angle at the ball? I know last week on the video, they showed a video where Diana was in the video and she was below free throw line extended. And another giving examples for the ball where there were wanted examples of a block or a foul, and it was a foul call, but they let it go as a no call. So for that one, can we take a step back and turn our body towards the ball on that one?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm going to use my hands as 2 players. Okay, so you can see my face through these 2 hands. So that's the open look.
Yes.
So now I'm the C, and I'm looking at 2 players just like this. This is the offense, defense, close fist defense. So now as the play goes away from me, I should step down toward as the play moves toward the baseline. I should step down 1, remember, like the book says, 1 to 2.
Yes.
So that way I continue keeping an open look between the 2 players, even though, see how it's moving? And I don't want to be like this. So I want to be able to keep this view. So you can step downward. If you need to open up your shoulders toward that play, good. I just wouldn't open up my waist, because then what's going to happen is you're going to now be facing the baseline, and there's going to be a quick steal.
Yeah.
And you're not going to make it down to the other end of the court.
Okay.
So take your step downward, 1 step at a time, slightly turning your shoulder toward the baseline and watching the play for another split second. Because as it goes toward the basket and goes down to that lower block, the lead should be able to pick that up, because the lead already should be closed down and has a better angle at that drive. So anything that happens around the base, the basket, the lead should be able to pick that up.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Lorenzo.
That's a good question.
Lorenzo,
Yes.
hey, on that, for everyone, people talk about move to improve, whether you're moving to improve your view or you're moving to improve the crew's view. If you find yourself leaning from the waist over or moving your head to peek, then maybe you need to move your feet to see. Moving
Correct.
your feet helps you see in this game. Leaning makes you look lazy, and chances are you're tilting your head, you're not getting a good view. So if you find yourself leaning to try to get a view, whatever way you're leaning, take a step that way and get your body in position to receive it and to see it. When you start playing peekaboo or like you're looking around a corner, that's not a good look, and that's not your best look you're going to get. So if you find yourself leaning to try to get a look, take a step, keep your body upright, and get the best look that way.
I'm glad you said that. You know, I had asked that when I went through my training. You know, I didn't think there was anything wrong with leaning. But the thing is, what I end up finding out, when you lean, you're already anticipating. You're looking to anticipate. So when you anticipate, now you're starting to put air in your lungs, get ready to like, oh, there's going to be a foul there. So you're right. Just relax, take your step, don't lean, and move with your feet. Correct. Thanks.
Lorenzo, this is
Yes.
John Olson. How are you?
Good, John. How's everything been?
Good, good. Hey, I have a question from the C position. Frank just mentioned it. As the drive occurs, and I think we were talking about it in terms of the positioning on a block charge. The play leaving the C's position, going obviously to the basket, and you said that the lead should be in close down. As the offensive player gets past the defender, will that be the lead secondary defender in that case, as he's in
Yes.
close down position?
Yes, because the primary defender that just got beat, you have to stay engaged with that player, because that player can grab a jersey, grab
Right.
the shorts, or push. I've seen so many plays where the defender, thinking no one's going to look, especially the lead, gets pushed from behind, and all of a sudden that player accelerates past the basket and misses, and the ball hits underneath the basket. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a good point.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Anybody else? And don't think that I think that there should be one whistle among the three. In a high school game, a lot of times you're going to find two whistles. Let's say between the C and the lead on that play that was just discussed. But just recognize that who would take that call. The lead most of the time, let's just say 9 out of 10 times, is going to take that call. Could the C have a whistle? Yes. But just keep in mind that just take a minute, a second to pause and go recognize who's got that play and who's going to take it. So I was watching a tape and I saw two officials report a foul at the same time. Not good. So it would really be bad if one called a block and the other one called an offensive foul. So just take a second and recognize who's taking the play to the table. Any other questions? Okay, let's go to the next. Okay. PCA, your primary coverage area. Gotta know it. You gotta know where you're at, and you gotta know where you're looking at. And one of the things that was told to me a long time ago, that I had to know where all the markings on the court were. It just helped me get in position to referee the area. And you know, every now and then we're gonna have two sets of eyes on the ball. That could be straight down the middle of the paint. Look at the stripe line and the blue area. Or you can have it that area. I remember John Franklin always telling me, splitting the floor up 80-20. That trail is going to have 80% of that 3-point arc, and the other part is going to go to the C. So we can have dual coverage in that area there. So just be mindful again that there could be another whistle at that same spot. So just who's going to take it. So obviously if the play is going away from the trail, heading in that way, and then pulls up and shoots right near the stripe line, that green area, then the trail is going to take that call. If it's obviously crossed over on the C side, the trail needs to look away and start looking into another area. There are other primary coverage areas that help out with off-ball rebounding, because the shot can come from right in front of the C. So and focus that way and not all the way to the C side. Questions? Okay. Now, a drive to the basket, whether it's from trail or C, especially the trail. If a drive goes to the basket, do not stand still. You should be at least 28-foot line. Do not stand still. You should take a step downward and stay engaged with the play and help out on a block charge situation or a hit or drive to the basket that the lead may not see or the C may not see. Everybody understand that? Take a step downward. One of the training I received was, it's going to help me stay engaged. And two, using that right foot that I step down toward the baseline. Let's just suppose it's a quick rebound and they're heading down. That right foot is going to help me push off and sprint down to the baseline the other way. So if I'm standing flat-footed, I'm only going to be 2 steps. That ball's going to be 2 steps ahead of me. Everybody understand that? Questions? Okay. Next. All right. Couple of these. Before we start rolling this tape, I want everybody to be open-minded. I want everybody to focus on positioning. Don't worry about the call. Don't worry about anything else. Just think about where the position is. Okay, so let's start. Before we roll this tape, is everybody in good position? Yeah. The ball is in trails, PCA.
Pretty good glimpse.
Trail should actually be a little behind those 2 players. So now but you know, the ball could have been passed out, so I can understand that. So that's one thing. But if you look at the C, is the C looking in his primary coverage area? The answer is no. The C is looking on ball. So guess what the lead has? The lead has all 8 other players. So I know in this rule book, and I know in this book, I have this other book, this mechanics book. It's a big, thick book. In there, it talks about a philosophy. Talks about hustle, knowing your rules, positioning, and by the way, it says trust your partner. So you think the C is trusting the trail's partner? Right in front of the C, there's 2 players getting ready to be close to each other. The white jersey player is starting to move down in position in front of the green defender. So that's where they should be looking at. The lead should be sitting at the home base position, is already, and that lead is already in close down. Okay, roll it. Stop. Okay, look how far the trail came out. The reason why the trail came out that high is because as the defender came up to defend the ball handler, it was almost as he was surprised of the play and he wanted to be in position. And look where he's at now. Now he is totally facing the baseline and still looking over his right shoulder at where the ball's at, where the C is. The C should have stayed in position, straddling that free throw line extended to the sideline. But as soon as the ball came down, the ball is now in front of him. He is now stacked. He cannot see that defender. He's straight line. This is what he sees. The lead is already rotating over, which was probably the best bet. So to me, he's the only one that's done this right. So can you back it up a little bit? Okay, stop. He's looking at ball. You shouldn't even look at ball. You should know where the ball's at. Use your peripheral vision. Start looking at the lower blocks. There are 4 players in his PCA. One could be setting an illegal screen. Okay, roll it. And the moment the ball comes in his area, he wants to be the new trail. So he's going to hustle his ass. Hustle out and now get in a straight line position. Stop. Do it again. Yep. All right. When the ball comes in C's area, you don't want to move out of a good spot. When you rotate, when the lead rotates over to C side, until the lead has completely come across and now positions itself, stop moving, in other words, that's when the C should be moving out and being in a better position. But you're going to see other clips where the C doesn't even move, may be there for at least 2 or 3 seconds until the ball moves out of his PCA or moves where he has to keep an open look on the defender. So the C should be the last one to move at all times. And again, the C and the trailer looking on ball. Okay, roll it.
Lorenzo, before you go on, can we go back a little bit?
Sure.
Just Mike Hernandez.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Good. Just here, running around like a nut.
Aren't we all? Hey, listen, when as far out as the trail came, what would be your best suggestion to say? I know he seemed surprised, but what would be the best thing to do in a case like that? Where would you suggest that he should have been, and what would have been his next step to do?
Okay. The trail should be, like I said, 1 step outside onto the court by the end line, by the sideline. As the ball comes out further away from the 3-point arc, in the middle of the court, all that trail has to do is take a couple of steps to the right and be able to keep position. Having that look is what he needs to maintain. So all you do is take 1 or 2 steps out and stay even with the play. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Roll it.
Lorenzo,
Yes.
I'd
Stop right
like,
there.
to
Go
add
ahead.
that, I'd like to add that the situation dictates how far you may have to go sometimes.
Yes.
This
There. Let's just suppose the ball comes all the way out, say where the center circle is at. Well, obviously the trail has to go all the way, maybe to the division line.
So every play is going to have a different situation. So, 1 step, 2 steps, may be more.
Yeah, it could be more. Yep.
Particularly to maintain an open look, because based on the setup here, we don't know when the C picked up the ball, or we know when they did, but he may not know when to give it up. So
Right.
when they move until they get on this side, that free throw line extended and the C's primary,
Yeah.
he's going to continue with that. So If we stand over there next to the sideline, then we're not staying connected with the play, and the trail needs to stay connected with the play.
Yes, yes. One of the things that I've heard and talked about, I guess I just picked it up from college, is you know, you need to be where you need to be to referee the play. So if you have to be on the court 2 or 3 steps, then so be it. Just be careful that you don't get involved with a player, you know, that's coming to help out. Nothing's ever absolute. Nothing. So positioning is never absolute. Just get where you need to get to referee the play.
Yeah, and I guess what I was looking for too is when trying to clarify, not clarify, but yeah, I guess clarify that he should have released at a certain point, not stayed with the play. I guess that's where I was going with that.
Yes.
You know, he should have known when to say, that's it. It's I'm got to get down to my C position and let the other guy handle it.
Right. Yeah. See, they're not they're too much ball watching. They're not aware of their PCA. 3, they're not even in position. And especially for the 2 outside officials, it made making this game a little bit more difficult. I know if we were sitting there, I'm lead, I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, somebody help me out here, because I now have 7, 8 players here in front of me. Okay, roll it.
Hey, Lo, can you also talk about, I mean, you can keep rolling, but can you talk about how when the lead came over, the C doesn't have to be in a rush to come out. It's okay for temporarily to have 2 Cs if the play dictates that need, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
During
then
a rotation, the C needs to hold a position and not, first of all, not get out of a good look, and 2, wait till the lead settles in their area and has now picked up their new responsibility, their new PCA. Yeah, you can have 2 Cs. You definitely can't have two trails.
And I believe in this situation that the C's concentration was on the lead coming over and saw him coming, so he decided to move with the lead coming versus staying with a competitive matchup.
Yeah, he's just trying to show that he can hustle. He hustled up right out of a good situation. Okay. Good comments.
Whoever's on the stick, if you would back it up to the shot, because I was just finding this in the book, because I know Lorenzo was going to cover it. So I'm going to take a little bit of I'm going to take a little bit of time from Lorenzo. Watch the C and watch the trail on the shot. I don't care if it's a half court shot, a layup. Watch those 2 outside officials on the shot. Go ahead. I'm not gonna say anything about who marked it. What I'm gonna say is what it says in the rule book about shots, field goal attempts. Center and trail officials should close down on tries for goal and be responsible for basket interference, goaltending, and perimeter rebound coverage. Lorenzo talked about earlier, the trail or the lead official was kind of hung out and had 8 players because the trail and C were all watching, and both of them was watching 2 players. On a shot, there's at least 8 players crashing towards the rebound. If the trail and the C do not take a step or 2 down towards the basket, like they're crashing the rebound, if you're flat-footed, that may be the best you can be, but you can't be bailing out. This here, both of them are flat-footed, and both of them are marking the shot. So nobody is going to help on that rebound. That's why I said, shoot that shot again and see who goes anywhere as far as to assist with the rebound. Even that one, no, we were bailing out. And now there's a second one. We didn't bail out, but we didn't go nowhere. You got to close down like you're rebounding the basketball.
Another point on that, Frank, if you don't mind, is that the trail is straight lined on that shot.
Yep,
Cannot
absolutely.
cannot see any contact.
You're not going to see the foul. You're not going to see anything. You're absolutely right, John.
And
Yep.
I was always taught, I don't know if you taught me or what, but it's the shooter up, down, rebound, those steps.
For if you are covering the shooter,
Right, covering the shooter, up,
So-
down, rebound, which means
That-
you have to step down.
and here's the thing, and that's a very good point that you just made, John, that goes back to what I wasn't going to discuss, is that this is one of those where that 3-point shot is taken. If we won't go back to the green and blue lines, but somebody has to give that up, because if both of outside officials are marking the 3-point shot, then both officials are watching just what you said, John. Shot up, down, then go to the rebound. So somebody has to give it up.
Yep.
But
All right, thanks, Frank.
you're absolutely right, John. But the thing is, on those shots, whether it's a layup, but definitely on a jump shot, 3-point shot, it should take you about 2 trips up and down the court to figure out, are those soft rims or are they stiff rims? And is that ball going to bounce long or is it going to bounce short? And you can then change your game a little bit as officials to expect a long rebound or a dud flat rebound. Those are little things that you pick up as you move on. Is it an outside jump shot team? Is it going to be long rebounds to where you have to go back and you have to stay engaged with the rebounders to be able to see if somebody gets displaced or somebody makes an illegal act? And in the boys' game, you have to go there for the goaltending and basket interference, because the trail's not going to make that call right now.
No,
if it
'cause
was
he
a
has
boys'
shot
game.
responsibility.
So
Would we
Take-
also say, Frank, that the trail was way too far out? I mean,
Yeah.
more from the position of all the players, he should have been further in. I don't think he should have been all the way out that far out.
I'll agree with that. And I think John or Lorenzo said it earlier. From one, as deep as he was, and on the court, that jump shot that he had was a straight line. He was not able to see the defender coming. And if you look at how the defender looks like she has, well, that's her hair, but the defender almost didn't let her land because her right foot is past the body of the jump shooter. Okay, so the trail is behind her. That's one of those things that if he would have taken 2 steps to his left and got further out on the floor, Marvin said there's times that you may have to get out there. That may have been the one time that you hurried up and got outside or hurry up and got inside the court to see that play, because there was no way you were going to go to the right and try to close down and see that jump shooter and the defender. You have to see that space between those 2 players, because right now there's no space there and you're guessing.
Frank, good comments. Let's go ahead and move on to the next clip.
Everybody comfortable on where they were at? Look where they're at. The trail stepped down on the drive. The lead is wide and the C is straddling the line. Don't worry about the call. Any questions on this play?
I don't see the lead. Is he a little wide?
Yes.
Little,
seems to be-
very.
He doesn't seem to be engaged at all. But that's,
What? No, go ahead, John.
no, the trail is at the 28-foot line. That's
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
C is good, but I don't see the trail. I would think the trail would need to be in here as the play goes to the basket to get a better look.
I think you mean lead, but I agree.
Lead, I mean, yes, sorry.
I think the problem here might be Because don't they have different areas, primary areas in college than in high school on that lead?
No,
It's the
they're
same.
roughly the same.
Oh,
Yep.
it's women's. That's right. I was thinking. So would the lead need to be that far out if the trail is responsible for that player down there?
No, the lead is responsible for those players down there. The intersection where the contact occurs is within, first of all, the PCA for the lead is free throw line extended all the way to the baseline. So they have that play. So they follow that play all the way to the basket. If they miss a foul, like that possible block charge situation, the outside official, since they're both engaged and they're in position, they'll come out and help out and make that call. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but the lead is a little too wide. That's a part of people taking it literally of mirroring the play. It's just a little too wide. Okay, next play. Okay. Roll it back a little bit. See how the C stayed? Didn't bail out, then start running down the other end. Stay there, refereeing, and there's a collision and makes the call. So, after a rebound or a fumble, everybody has to stay engaged, especially the C. Steve will referee in transition this, has from sideline to sideline. Because any players that are within the lead, which is going to be the trail, is the trail going to be the new lead, and the lead going to be the new trail. They could be straight line on that play, but that C stayed engaged and made that call for a possible in transition play.
Hey Lorenzo, I'm sorry. Can I know I'm kind of late, but I wanted to ask a question back actually on the last clip. Real quick. You
Yeah.
said that that lead was too wide, then possibly too wide. Then what should have been his positioning? Because shouldn't we keep the 45-degree kind of angle to the baseline a little bit? And if the play was so wide, but was still inside the 3-point line, that's still his PCA, right?
Well, yeah, it's in the PCA, but again, you should be a home base for the lead is between the lane line and the 3-point arc, where off the baseline. Make sense?
I get it.
Okay. Yeah, he just stepped back too far.
On the
So,
initial start, when the ball was initially at the 3-point line, he was initially too far wide.
yeah. Yeah, all you have to do is open up and then look. You don't have to step that far back.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. And these are things that we need to practice on. Go to a court and practice this. You know, I mean, use visualization, and so that way you can. It has to become memory. Okay. Anything? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Now, I put this play up because off this rebound, we talked about, just like John had mentioned, being engaged. The trail stayed flat-footed. Put a step down as the ball is rebounded. I think lead took that call when it should have easily come out of Trail's area, the PCA. Because if you watch the ball come down, the defense is going over the back. The Trail could have that. I mean, if I'm looking at this angle, if the Trail had stepped down a little bit further, he would have seen that.
Center is also running away already.
Yeah, they're already moving. No longer engaged. Any questions? Something that's to be embedded in you, step down, just like John was saying, you got to stay engaged, step down on the plays, even on the rebound. Okay, stop. Take it back. Stop.
A lot of walking.
That's the number one thing. I mean, the book says hustle, and this is when you should be hustling. Let's talk about the lead. We can see the lead right now. Lead is looking on ball. Lead's not in position. Lead's not even prepared for a quick pass for a layup. So hustle, get in position. It doesn't take much for you to run a little bit harder. And once you get to your spot, like where that C is off the baseline, then you can take a deep breath and try to relax. But that referee is not ready to referee the PCA. And now, right now, I can almost bet that 3 officials are looking on ball right now. So the C by now should have already been between the K and the E. And preparing for the pass went to that sideline for his PCA. So we're a little late in getting to our position. Roll it. Stop. Ball's in the center of the court. Trail C should have already been there. Lead is still straddling the baseline. Should have been where the C and the K is already. The Trail is looking to get down in position. Let's see if it goes in any further. Roll it. Stop. Look how far the Trail's out there now. Too far out. That's more than 2 steps from the sideline. How many players are right there within the 3-point line? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 players. So why does the Trail have to be all the way out there? You think he can referee from near the sideline? The C's not even ready either. The C's still basically facing the baseline. Roll it. Also, getting your primary, getting at home base, things that should constantly be in your mind at all times during this game. The ball had gone all the way for a layup. The lead wouldn't have been ready to referee that, and neither would the C. Go ahead.
Someone commented on the text that don't worry about the score. Might have been different. I mean, how did he say it? No matter the score, call ball. I mean, these are the times when it's a game like this is a time that your antennas have to go up even tighter, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the team that that's down by 21 could be very frustrated, you know. So and then the team that's down, I think that's the home team is in gray, right? So they're
That's
down by
actually-
21. Huh?
It's actually Judson and Wagner, so they're very competitive against each other. And
Yep.
definitely not a game to walk.
No, definitely not. I mean,
No game
you-
is this one especially.
Yep.
So Lorenzo, I have a comment, a question.
Go ahead, Mark.
When that ball came across the court and the offensive player pulled it out, she pulled it back out to the C's PCA, and he had a competitive matchup up there near the division line. Couldn't he have initiated a rotation, come up and caught and picked up that competitive matchup right there, and had the lead come over and the C drop down, trail drop back down?
Yes. Okay. Remember, I said nothing's ever absolute. That's first thing. And in part of the training and part of even what the official manual says, most of the time the lead will initiate the rotation. But if the ball is now near C's sideline, then the C needs to go up and cover that. The lead needs to recognize the C is now has a matchup and should start the rotation. So the guideline for that is that the lead gets halfway and say the ball comes back to trail, the lead can back up and come right back to where the C is at, where the lead is presently. If the ball doesn't, the lead keeps on going, and now the rotation is initiated. Yes, that's a good observation, Mark. Got to help each other be in good position, right? Anybody else? Should have had a rotation right there. I can tell you the lead's looking at the ball, waiting for it to come back. Now the trail's not engaged. The trail should be down to the 28-foot line, standing there right there by a step below the coach. Roll it. C's in good position. And that, you know, if I talk to this crew about this play, I know what the crew would say. Well, the ball always comes back this way. That's the way they've been playing the whole game. That's not that shouldn't even be a comment, you know, about just because they think that the ball always comes this way. Should have had a rotation. The trail stayed too far onto the court. Look where the trail stays. Now we're ball watching. That ball kicks out right toward that official. What's going to happen?
He's gonna get ran over.
Yeah, get run over. Could be the last game he ever refereed.
Johnny speaks.
Only
I mean,
words of wisdom from Johnny, though.
He stays out there in the middle of the floor during the entire play.
Johnny's wisdom comes from experience.
You're right.
Right.
Anybody? So obviously, you know, I don't want to end up, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody here, but this is what I see when I evaluate, especially my games. What kind of habits have I been instilled with? And this is a high level game. So, and like Diane said, a very, very competitive teams that always go at each other, you know, Wagner and Judson. And so you need to stay engaged and know your PCA and not have habits like this, you know, being on the court and not moving and hustling. These are habits that we need to look at and do self-evaluation and change these habits. That's why breaking down video is a good thing. I'm always trying to improve. And no matter if I've been refereeing for 35 years, getting ready to do my 35th season, I look at a game tape the day after my game and I want to break it down. And I encourage everybody to do this. Even right before the season, I would get this tape, this clip, and watch nothing but 15 minutes of what the trail does. So that way I know what not to do. And then I go to the C and look at 15 minutes of him standing there like that, knowing I can't do that. I can't do that. Where should I be? And do the same thing with the league. These are habits that have been picked up through the years and never been adjusted. Roll it. That play right there, the lead was already trying to go in transition, and look what we had down there. Now it's trying to figure out whether there's a foul or a held ball. Look at Trail and C bailing out, especially C. How many players are down there? 3, 6, 7?
7.
That's where we should be engaged at, right there, those 7 players. Not getting ready to go the other end. Again, another habit that needs to be changed. Roll it. Next. No.
I think that might be the last play, Lo.
That's the last play?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that is the last play. You're right. I thought I had one more. Oh, that's the one I couldn't clip. Spent all afternoon trying to clip one of my plays and couldn't do it. Does anybody have any questions?
Lorenzo, this is John Olson.
Yeah, John.
As the C, how low would you recommend the C drop down? I know where the Cadillac position is. How low would you suggest they drop or just stay? I know you have to move to see the play, but I'm just curious. I've been criticized before for dropping too low.
Well, ideally, you should be from the free throw line extended down to the lower, to the second block, the second line, the line on the free throw line. Ideally, that's where you should be. Now, again, there could be a situation where the ball is on the floor and 2 or 3 people are diving in that corner. Well, guess what? I go down.
Yeah, you got to be there, right?
Yeah, you got to be there. So, I mean, again, but ideally, most of the time, you're only going to take 2 steps downward. That's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And 2 steps up. Same.
2 steps up. Okay. Got it.
Any other questions for Lorenzo? Hey, Lo, thank you so much for going through those clips. It was great conversation about the positioning on the court. And we really appreciate everybody taking the time to go through this. As the season's coming into fruition here, we have fall ball that started already. It's good to just try to get in the rule book, look as many plays as possible. Just real quick, a couple of things. One, the next session, preseason Zoom, will take place on 9/11. I know it's a weird date, but 9/11, and we're going to be covering transition coverage. So another really good topic, which we kind of hit on about not bailing out and staying back with the first line of defense. So let's just make sure you join us for that. It'll be a different Zoom link, so I'll send that out for the next 2 sessions. So I'll send that out. And then also, if you haven't paid your state and local dues, please do so. Also, go pay your gas. It's all on Arbiter, or you can get there through our website at saboa.org. The other thing is new member training starts September 10th. They're on Sundays. New member training is 1 to 3. And if you're an official that has 2 to 5 years of experience, that's going to start from 3 to about 5 or 6. So Henry Mondragon, contact him, sign up. If you know somebody wants to sign up. If you want to attend the advanced training, you can contact Henry, or you can contact Soupy. He is the advanced training director. So does anybody have any questions about anything we covered today or anything that I just mentioned? Again, 55 people on here, so great attendance, appreciate it. Hopefully we can continue to get more people on. That would be great. Oh, sorry, advanced training starts at 2. Henry corrected me, not 3, 2. So again, Lorenzo, thank you. Marvin, our assignment director. Marvin, you have anything you want to add before we close out?
No, not really. For those, not this weekend, but the weekend after, when we start training, we'll be at Churchill or fall games in Johnson. If anybody wants to stop by there by noon to talk about and cover basketball, I'll be there. Henry will probably be there until he's got to go to training. So we can accommodate that if they want to. And I'd like to applaud Lorenzo and Frank and everybody for their input tonight.
Hey, real quick, I want to thank Aaron for helping me with the slides and the games. Really did a good job. So whoever presents the next one, you can rely on Aaron to help you out.
Yeah, but I just want to reiterate, a lot of us are old school people. But today, with officiating the way it is today, that X mark on the floor does not work anymore.
No.
It doesn't work at all. You got a starting position, and then it's all about angles. To maintain good angles, you got to have movement. And you have to move somewhere where you keep that angle, whether it be close to the end line or 2 or 3 steps on the floor or in the backcourt to maintain your position as a trail on presses. So we get caught up, well, I got to be here. Well, that's not necessarily the case. It's just a starting point, and then you have to work from there. And if we can start visualizing and doing those things, we'll be in better positions to make calls. So the best position you're in, if you're in a great position, I promise you'll have good judgment. If you're not in a good position, your judgment is going to waver because now we're guessing. So just work hard on maintaining and getting good angles.
And then a couple questions. So the training will take place at Alamo Heights High School, the Sky Gym, which is towards the back of the school. Well, it's actually on the side, I should say. So that's where the training is going to be. For fall ball games, some of the schools have started girls leagues, boys leagues. I think a couple will be starting. Those are taking place at Churchill and Johnson. If you can't, go watch basketball. If you're not scheduled to work, go watch those games. Go watch the crews and how they're working, how they're communicating. That will help you a lot. These first 2 Zoom sessions, we've recorded them. We'll be recording all of them. I'll be sending a link out to all the members, so you'll have this, so that you can go back and refer to these clips now or in the middle of the season. They'll be available. The other question, fall ball, I believe, starts this coming weekend, 9/10, and then it ends When does the fall league end, Marvin?
We got, 4 more Sundays.
Yeah, 4 more Sundays. And they're all on Sunday, yes. And then scrimmages. So scrimmages, this is how fast it's coming. First day of scrimmages, October 28th. And first day of games is November 3rd. It's gonna be here quick, guys. So read your rule book, get in it. You're doing the right things just by being here today. So appreciate y'all. If you have any other questions, you have my email, you have Marvin's, or email your group rep. I appreciate everybody's time. Have a good week, and we'll see you soon. Take care.